Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic podcast. It's Cody Gotham's Caped Crusader. We're keeping it geekly. Yes, this is your number one stop for all things geek culture, from comic books to video games and everything in between. And man, oh man, am I excited because we have some heavy-hitting news coming straight off the press and some fresh DC comics a couple days before new comic book days. My apologies, of course, on the delay. The heat went out in our house, and after battling it for a few hours and the temperature dropping down to 58 degrees, I felt it was rather a good choice to delay it a few days until it got fixed instead of freezing to death and trying to present the news to you. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into that news and let's see what's buzzing in the geek culture. And it looks like we're going to be starting off with Google reportedly deprioritizing Google Stadia and rebranding it. Now, according to Business Insider, since announcing the closure of its internal studios last year, Google has shifted the focus of its Stadia division, largely securing white label deals with Peloton, Capcom, and Bungie, according to the peoples familiar with the plan. Now, it looks like the publication went on to claim that the company is shopping the technology partners under a new game, Google Stream, and it reportedly is trying to salvage the technology that allows players to stream games such as Destiny 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, and more at a lower latency. Now, in response to the Business Insider's report, Google was quoted saying the Stadia team is working hard on a great future for Stadia and cloud gaming. We hope you agree, and we know the proof is in the playing. Now, it seems like Google Stadia is working hard to salvage what is left of their company and trying to transport it into something in which we're able to get a lower latency could help and affect a lot of gamers and streamers across the world. So hopefully this is something that does come to fruition. Now, on to our next piece of news. It looks like The Wolf Among Us 2 might be leaked at an event later this week. Yes, you heard that right. It looks like tomorrow, February 9th, the first official trailer for The Wolf Among Us 2 will be dropped, and it will be a 30-minute news event. Jeff Knightley announced that he will be hosting the half-hour stream, and it will include the premiere of the first official trailer captured in-game. Now, this sequel to the game that dropped in 2013 was officially announced in 2017, but with Telltale Games officially closing in 2018, LCG Entertainment had to step up and revive the Telltale Games series, and they acquired the rights to The Wolf Among Us, paving the way for the sequel, which was re-announced in 2019. Now, The Wolf Among Us was my first introduction to Telltale Games and the way they went about their narrative adventure game, and the way they took the story and sculpted it into their own and introduced all these fairy tale characters that I grew up with was just a phenomenal introductory to the series. So I'm pretty excited for the second one to drop, and I'm definitely going to be tuning in tomorrow to check out the 30-minute trailer. Now, on to our last piece of news this week. It looks like Platinum's CEO wants to create larger and riskier games and hints at a live service focus. So in a recent interview with Platinum Games' new CEO, Atsushi Inaba, it appears that he suggests a larger focus on a live service game. He said he would love the company to create more games that can be enjoyed and loved for a longer period of time, compared to those in which players experience one-off content such as in Bayonetta. Now, Inaba was quoted saying, however, the projects that we are trying to create for the future will be different in terms of their structure. Considering the changes in the market over the next 5 years or so, I think it is absolutely necessary for us to do this. I'm sorry for being so vague, but I think that's all I can tell you right now. Now, with Inaba moving up to be CEO of Platinum Games, it looks like Hideki Kamiya, the acclaimed designer behind Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, is now the official vice president. Now, we have some rather big words from the new CEO of Platinum Games, and only time is going to tell if he's able to measure up to it. With that being said, though, that does wrap up This Week in Geek, but stay tuned. We got those fresh posts coming right out the oven. We're going to be hitting you fresh with Batman issue 120, written by Joshua Williamson, with art being done by Jorge Molina and Miguel Janin. Now, The Abyss Part 3, The Escape, begins with Detective Kaya demanding that someone finds Batman as she's gathering up the Abyss's body, but she's quickly stopped by Chief, who is wondering what she's doing, and in an instance where she pretends that she's submitting to him, she tells her that she's going to be taking it to Lex Luthor. Now, as she drives off, she gives the cue to Batman to break from the body bag, and it's at this point we see that he's still suffering the Abyss's attack, and he needs to find somewhere dark and safe in order to find out what exactly is going on. Meanwhile, though, Lex Luthor is standing patiently in his lab as he awaits the Abyss's dead body, but then the lights begin to flicker, prompting him to activate a bat signal, which causes a huge bat suit to engulf him, a suit that he was going to give to Batman if he joined Batman Inc. as he prepares to fight the Abyss. Now, a still blinded Batman is determined to break Batman Inc. out of prison, but are they as innocent as he is led to believe, because their leader, the Abyss, shows up to take over? Now, the Abyss is proving time and time again to be a ruthless killer, and I'm wondering exactly how Lex Luthor plans to stop him, but I got to admit, his suit does look pretty awesome. Now, with that being said, we're going to be moving on to our next issue of the week, which is going to be Suicide Squad issue number 12, written by Robbie Thompson and Dennis Hopeless, with art being done by Eduardo Pansica and Julio Ferreira. Now, the beginning of the end starts with Rick Flag assembling his crew, figuring out how exactly they're going to take down Waller, as she has an arsenal of criminals from the multiverse to do her evil bidding. Right now, though, she's pretty empty-handed, as Task Force X is currently on Earth 8 fighting off Marvel's versions of the Thunderbolts, aka Lightning Strikes, which in turn proves to be alternate versions of themselves. Now, back on Earth 0, though, Task Force X Island, we find Amanda Waller following through with her plans to evacuate to Earth 3, with the first order afterwards to kill Dr. Rodriguez. Now, before they're able to carry out this last mission, Rodriguez is able to cut that last wire she needs to shut the backup systems on the island down for a full 48 hours. Now, it's time for Flag, Peacemaker, and Bloodsport to fight their way to Waller before she escapes to Earth 3. Now, Amanda Waller always has a few tricks up her sleeve, and her plans for Earth 3 are pretty diabolical, with the intent to take it over. Rick Flag, Peacemaker, and Bloodsport intend to stop that. Now, with that being said, though, we're going to be moving on to our last book of the week, which is going to be Batman Detective Comics issue 1051, written by Mariko Tamaki, with art being done by Max Rayner. Now, the Tower Part 5 begins with Psycho Pirate on the run, effectively hiding in luggage aboard an airplane, making his way to Tobias Ware's house, and whimpering that serious people are on the way to hurt him, giving us the backstory on how he became Dr. Ocean. Now, we pivot to day 18 with the Bat Family Underground talking about Numb and how quickly it's taking over the streets of Gotham with its lethal force. Oracle hands Nightwing a USB with spyware to confirm that the pills are coming from Arkham Tower. Now, this is where the climax of our story begins, as we see Dr. Ware meet up with the Joker army, and their leader is rather upset as he has double dipped them for the Penguin and has given them some duds, and they demand a brand new shipment or there are going to be some dire consequences. Now, as Dr. Ware is driving, he is contacted by the Penguin, who is also upset about getting double crossed by Dr. Ware. Now, he gives Dr. Ware 24 hours to fix this, or everyone and he knows will end up gutted on the Gotham docks. Now, things are beginning to quickly pile up for Dr. Ware with his life on the line. He pushes Psycho Pirate to his limits as he prepares for Mayor Nakano's visit with that $6 million check on the line. Now, when I seen Dr. Ware die in this run, I had a lot of sympathy. I felt bad for the man, but seeing what he does and how he's double crossing everyone, he pretty much wrote that check himself. That does wrap up our podcast for the week, but you can catch me on all of my respective social media platforms at JobForACody. Be sure to check out my latest indie comic interview, in which we break down Sunrise Blossom Volume 2 with Anina Amberlin. And most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.